Yep.
Is that my countdown?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for attending Alive's annual member meeting. We're so happy to have you, and we're really excited about sharing with you all the great accomplishments we've had this year, as well as where we're going for next year. So we're just going to kick right into it because there's so much great content that our board is really happy to share with you. So here's today's agenda. And I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we are recording. So thank you, Gretchen, and we'll be able to share this with our members afterwards. But we're going to have some quick welcomes for everyone, and I'm just going to move quickly though through that. People will introduce themselves for our board as they present, and we're going to have just some quick remarks from myself. I'm Megan Vixie, your board president, and I will definitely go through the rest of our board as well. And then we have committee reports from our executive committee, as well as some more information for all of you for what's upcoming for this next year. So as I mentioned, I am your host, and I also welcome Michelle Raymer, who is our Alive President-elect. She'll be co-hosting with me today and just managing through this wonderful agenda that we have here. And I'm just going to keep moving forward with the next slide. And Michelle will introduce herself when we get to her section that she'll oversee. So just as a reminder, our mission and vision are here for Alive. And again, you know, our goal for our national association, we want to promote professional development. We're providing advocacy all the way from the individual level up to hopefully the national and even international levels. And we want to make sure that we provide a lot of collaboration and networking for all of you to get to know one another, you know, meet others in your industries, or maybe doing similar work as you, or not, because that's, again, a great way to foster creative and innovative ideas, is to hear from others maybe outside of what you normally the normal work that you perform. And so we just want to make sure that, again, we're advocating for the profession, for our industry, for our field, but also making sure that we're helping all of you develop as leaders, not only in your organizations, but in your communities, and even through Alive work and through our association, how we can help move our field forward here as well. So moving to the next slide. If you haven't seen this yet, the Alive Executive Committee got together in January, and we created our strategic plan. It's really our roadmap for the next 5 years. And we were really excited to release this to all of you. We got some really great feedback. We have many of you that have joined committees to help us with this important work. But one of the things I just want to highlight, and you'll be hearing this throughout the rest of the meeting today from our VPs and our executive committee, we've really seen our involvement go up with many of you joining in volunteer work and donating your time to Alive, working through the committees. We've seen our membership increase and people continue to join Alive. We've also seen our financial stable and increase, and projected to increase more than what we had thought for this year. We'll share that information as well. And even our programming and our advocacy efforts have increased over the year. We've done all of this without increasing any dues, without, you know, providing any of that put back onto our members. And so I thought that was just really important to share to all of you, that Alive is in a really great place with our, not only our financials, but really the trajectory that we're going with our strategic plan. We've been able to accomplish so much of that, and we continue to move forward with that as well. So we can go to the next slide, and I'm going to turn it over to Michelle Raymer. So she's going to really kind of talk about how that kind of has occurred, and really the structure that we've had that has made that happen. So go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, so again, I'm Michelle Raymer, our president-elect, and I'm so pleased to share that the membership has overwhelmingly voted to support the slate of nominees that was put forward. So here is your 2021 Board of Directors. As you can see, we have just a fantastic group. We were truly honored and really humbled by the number of strong applicants that we had for the board member positions. And we're really grateful for everyone who stepped up and showed an interest in becoming a board member. It was really challenging to put forward a slate of nominees. And so we hope that everyone who applied will continue to be involved and take leadership roles within committees. And so, as you can see, we have a large 19-member board moving forward. And so that is the max of our bylaws. But we thought that we had such high quality applicants that it was important that we really take advantage of that and bring on this leadership. So we're so excited about this coming year and what it will entail. So you can see we have 7 new board members, and we look forward to working with them, and we look forward for all of you getting to know them better in the coming years as well. And so here you can see a map of the country. And so we do have representation from all of our different regions across the country. And again, just excited to for all the voices that will be heard with that. And so if you don't know any of the board members or have questions, you can always feel free to reach out to a board member in your region and get to know them a little bit better and ask any questions you have. That we're all certainly here for you at any time. And this is just a reminder of the association structure. So if you do have questions about something and want to know who to reach out to, this is how we're set up. So we have the president role, then we have the executive committee, which is made up of president-elect, secretary, treasurer, and the 3 VPs, as well as the president. We have the association manager, Gretchen, and then our board of directors. And below that, you can see the many committees that each of our executive committee members lead and facilitate. And they're all opportunities for members to get involved and volunteer with those communities and help move that work forward. Over the past couple of years, we've been really intentional about trying to increase our member engagement within our committees because there's so much we hope to accomplish, and it really depends on all of you being involved. We're a membership organization, and our members are our volunteers. Our board are all volunteers and members too. And so on this slide, you can see a number of members who are volunteering our committees. And so a huge thank you and shout out to all of them for the time and expertise and talents and knowledge and experience you've been sharing with us. It's made a huge impact, as you'll hear, as each committee reports out about everything we've accomplished over the past year. And it really is because of the strength of the volunteers and what you've brought to the organization. So here's a little bit about some of our just overall leadership development and staffing report. So some of the things that we really worked on over the past year, especially with the board development committee, is streamlining that process for succession planning and executive positions, making sure we have a strong bench of leaders that are coming up the pipeline. And so looking at, how can we bring members on to be volunteers? How can we bring volunteers to participate in committees? How can we have committee members step up into more board leadership roles, and then move into exec committee positions. And so I think, as you can see from our slate of new board members, that we have a great bench of volunteer leaders. And so a great, place to draw from for future leadership. We've also looked at our structure and are continuing to watch the committees as we continue to grow so much and offer so much more, looking at what committee structure makes sense and make sure we're continuing to adapt as needed. Also excited to share that Gretchen, our association manager, is going to be serving on the host committee for the Points of Light conference. And so I think that's a great representation of how Alive is seen as a group that provides leadership in the field and can help provide that voice and expertise in planning the Points of Light conference. So we're really happy to partner with them on that. Coming up in 2020, we're going to continue with formalizing some of our board buddy structures to help make sure that as new board members come on, they're supported and can really dive in as quickly as possible. Continue our engagement of members to be involved in the organization. And also really just identifying reports or other things in our organization that should be on our members only site, or other things that we can share, and how can we share it to be more transparent and really best communicate with all of our members. Another piece that I want to share about is some of our work around diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion. So one piece of this that we've started implementing is around our board development committee. So we know that as a board, we aren't and haven't been reflective of the communities that we all work in. And so we want to make sure that we're reflective of the volunteer engagement field, and not just the field, but also communities where we're working as professionals. And so to do that, we've kind of taken a look internally and did a demographic survey to see, who is representative already on the board, and where are there gaps? What are we missing? Whose perspective are we not hearing? And so we did that and identified what those gaps were. And we tried to be transparent with all of you about, this is where we're at, this is where we'd like to be, and invited everyone to, if they felt like they could help add voice that was missing, to apply for the board. And we were so grateful and pleased to see that response in our board nomination process. And so thank you everyone for participating in that way. And we know that's just one step in this process, but it's something we hope to continue doing move forward, as well as look at what are things that we can put into place throughout our organization. And so we'd love to hear from you. Whenever there's something we can do better, please let us know. But also let us know how we can support you in your work. And so one of the things we did in the membership survey was to ask, what skills or resources do you need around diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion? And so here are a few examples of things that were shared on the survey around hosting trainings with tactical tools, sharing more resources like sample policies or verbiage, case studies, providing recommendations around speakers, continuing to evaluate our own leadership. And so again, as we move forward, please continue to share these ideas. We'll talk a little bit as other committees report out about plans we have in those areas and things we've already started to implement, but continue to let us know and communicate with us, and we'll continue to learn and grow together. All right, with that, I will pass things over to Mark.
Mark, I've promoted you to panelist. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Great to see you. I'm Mark Smith. I'm the Live Board Secretary, and I also work on the Local Associations Committee. Tell a little bit about our secretary position that we have. So this year we had some pretty big goals. We established an HR and policy committee. And what we realized was that our policies needed to be updated. It had been quite a while since they had been reviewed and updated. So we put a lot of energy and time into that and created a real solid and foundational manual that we have to be able to use going forward. With that committee, we also had some really great folks join that had some real deep expertise that mattered a lot to making sure that that we're cognizant and timely with those policies, and that they actually reflect the work that we're doing here in our communities. We also created a volunteer position description. We set up a website page for those volunteer opportunities. We set up a tracking mechanism for those volunteer hours as well. And that committee will continue to do incredible work in 2021, including an engagement strategy for exiting board members, of course, reviewing the schedule for those policies and procedures. As we know, things change quickly, and we want to be proactive when it happens. We also want to be able to identify some project-based opportunities for members. We realized that there were probably some gaps and holes, and who better to help us than our members with those particular things. We're also looking at finalizing our partner and sponsorship MOU for any future partnerships. We thought we really needed to have some clear delineation in who our partners were and how we could support each other. And then have a roadmap, as Megan said, to be able to use that for any of those folks who come to us or folks we might be interested in approaching as well. And then, of course, to review any of our current partnerships and our structures and discounts within those as well. And several of those are connected to our actual strategic plan, which feels really good that we're focusing not only on the work that needs to be done, but it's mattering to the committee and to Alive as well. You want us to stay on video?
Sean, go ahead for the treasurer's report.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Devereaux. I am serving as the treasurer for Alive this year and next, and very excited for that opportunity to be of service to a community that I am very passionate about and has paid my bills for the last couple decades. We have accomplished a lot in 2020. We updated all of our financial policies, and most importantly, we formalized an MOU with as a fiscal agent with the Alliance. And that took a little bit of work, but we are happy that it was time well spent without any question. And we've also streamlined our financial reporting and process to the board. We've got a lot in store for 2021. We'll be spending some time analyzing risk to cybersecurity to make sure that our finances are well protected. We've got a lot of opportunity to explore some future grant funding, and we'll spend some dedicated time on that next year to see if there are some opportunities for us to budget into 2022 some new fund monies that we can find out there in the wilderness. And a lot of other things in store. Something that's not listed here in the 2021 goals, however, is that we do intend to investigate an opportunity to do some auditing. It's time for us to make sure that all of our practices that we put into place over these last couple of years, and more particularly over this last year, to make sure that everything is moving along dashingly. Let's move to the next slide to kind of look at those numbers a little bit more closely. So presented here is our income, our budgeted income for 2020, our budgeted income for 2021, and then we've also provided some actual numbers of what we've seen in that capacity over this calendar year. The most important thing to take away from this particular report is that we're essentially staying flat to our budget for 2020 into 2021, with just a 2% increase in the amount of money that we are expecting to take in as income. Also important to note here is that we are already ahead of our income for 2020 based on the budget that we have provided, and this is just through October. So we do have another couple of months where we expect memberships to be strong and a little bit more income in a few other capacities, but we will finish this year very, very strong from an income perspective. So you will notice that while we are essentially flat to budget year over year, from 2020 to 2021, there are some slight adjustments that are all based on the experiences that we've seen throughout this calendar year. We aren't traveling anymore. People aren't moving from place to place. We've articulated opportunities to do a lot more work remotely. So there's some shifts in income, but more particularly, you'll see those shifts illuminated in the next slide in our expense report, in our expenses report for this year over next. So again, this budget is essentially flat to from 2020 to 2021 with just a 2% increase in expenses projected. And you'll see though that there are some shifts specifically in the executive line and in our programs line, where we are, for instance, we aren't traveling for an annual board retreat this year. We aren't paying presenters to travel for the hybrid conference. So there are some expenses that we thought that we would realize this year that we didn't. You'll also notice on this slide that our expenses are coming in way lower than what we had budgeted for this year. And so we are really in good shape from an expense perspective as well. And if you couple that good position from income and good position to expenses, we can see on our next slide that we have a pretty good nest egg with our current cash on hand of being over $25,000. So that is a really good position to be a treasurer in. The board makes this very easy for me, crunching the numbers and making sure that everything is adding up. And you can see here articulated also that it is just a slight variance that we will have if we come in at budget and come in from an income and an expense perspective next year, that we should have another surplus of close to $3,000. But I expect that it'll be a little bit more healthy than that. So again, it's a pleasure to serve in this capacity, and I'll turn the microphone over to our membership lead.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. So my name's Karen Resch. I am the VP of Membership. This was my first full year in the role. So we've got some exciting things happening and a lot of wins in our committee. So I'm happy to share those with you today. Michelle alluded to it earlier when we talked about the DEI and the survey, that it does come from our committee. So we did want to highlight that we saw a 9% increase in Net Promoter Satisfaction from our membership this year. So that's really awesome to see, especially as we all know it's been a hard year, but we were in a very great place with our programs and advocacy, and I'll let Paula speak to that more as to really being able to offer our members benefits throughout the year that were relevant. So great to see that everyone is happy, enjoying it. And then the other aspect that we didn't put on the slide is we did see a large increase in number of respondents to the survey. So we feel very comfortable that this is a pretty good reflection of our membership, and we'll plan on doing this year over year. The last thing I want to point out is that we did also see an increase in people that said they are planning to renew their membership. Last year, we had quite a few people that were undecided, and we were happy to see those move into the yes column. Go ahead, Gretchen. So this is a large table, which I will not go all into. Gretchen will share a large, it's like 2-page report out of all of our survey responses and the data that we accumulated there with the membership after this meeting. So that will be fully accessible to you to read through, see what comments we're getting and how people are feeling. But I'll just reiterate that again, everyone is very happy with where we're at. You'll see we have a lot of people attending our academies, using our library and calendar. And then one that I think doesn't get a ton of traction, but I'm happy to see in the survey is iJova. So if you haven't read a recent copy, you can always check that out on our website as well. Why don't we go to goals, Gretchen? So our 2020 accomplishments, with this year being a little unprecedented, we had a membership goal and we're kind of just going to see where it landed. And we were pleasantly surprised to see that we actually did surpass our goal. So our hope was to bring on 125 new members, so members that had never been a part of Alive before, and we ended up having 164. So that's a 24% increase that we're really happy to see. The large aspect where we did spend our time for the first few months of the year was offering that grace period for those experiencing financial constraints due to COVID. So Gretchen did an amazing job facilitating that and working with many of our members to take advantage of that resource. So that was something that we pivoted and offered, and very quickly we were happy about that. And then the last two things were we did start hosting virtual social hours, one during Points of Light, and then we will be doing them quarterly. So for any of you, I know we're announcing it officially on social media on Friday, but if any of you are available December 1st, that will be our final social for 2021. I'm in Central Time Zone, so it's 5 p.m. here, and you'll be seeing more information coming out about that, but they've been a lot of fun. And then the last thing we did was we do celebrate members who receive their CVA, as well as we do an outreach every year to those who receive their CVA, even if they are not a member of Alive. We have a great relationship with CCVA, and we reach out to congratulate them and share a little bit about who we are and what we do. So I'll try to go through goals fairly quickly. We have been hard at work recording membership tips this year. So they're short, quick videos to help our members navigate the website and all the resources that we have. So those will go live hopefully at the beginning of the year. We'll also be looking at developing some recruitment campaigns, improving our new member webinars, quarterly socials, new member calls, and then also looking to develop a strategy to reconnect with past members. So people that have left us for one reason or another, and seeing if we can have conversations and let them know what we're doing now. So the last thing that is related to our strategic plan that we'll be looking at is a scholarship program. So more to come on that. We haven't spent a ton of time there yet, but we'll see where it goes and excited to tackle it in 2021. Mark, you want to talk?
Hi guys, I'm back again. I'll talk a little bit about our local associations. And so these would be our DOVIAs, our NVAs, AVAs, any of those associations that kind of oversee a whole group of folks in a particular county or a city or a state. That local association committee has been pretty effective this year. We had a target of having 5 new associations join, and we actually hit that in our first quarter. We've seen an uptick for sure in those local associations needing our support, and we want to be there for them. That matters a lot to us. We need them to survive, and we have some tools in place to help them do that. We also did something that was very exciting for us this year. We've been working on a local association national directory of all of the ones across the United States. And so tweaking it a lot, making sure that we had the right information. We've been working with Energize Inc. as well. They had a similar platform, and they've decided to let us manage that particular piece. So we launched that one. And so it's now on our website. If you're part of a local association, we'd like you to go on, make sure that your information is correct. If it isn't there, we'd love to add you to that database. I think it shows the power of what we're doing and how many folks are doing the same thing we are with those associations. And then we're really proud that we were able to host a local association summit this year. And we had 32 different organizations attend. We went over, we had some question and answer sessions and some real brainstorming that went on with that. They were pretty impressive to see what people were needing. And it's going to help us give them the information they need to go forward as well. So those are some great things we had going on this year. And next year, we're looking at recruiting a few additional members for that committee. We also, because we have a mentor program too, we like to mentor those new associations that need support. And so always looking for mentors to help them do that. We're also going to be reviewing our benefits to the local associations. We want to make sure that they matter and that they're relevant. And so we're going to be looking hard at those benefits and see what they are and how they can benefit all of you. We're going to create a speaker list for our Past Alive events for local associations to be able to utilize, which is a really nice resource. And then, of course, we want to refresh a handbook. So I think it's been 2 years now ago that we created a volunteer handbook that has a lot of different categories to help local associations. A lot of forms, some great information in that handbook that we'd love to share with you. And then, of course, the mentor program, where we have both mentors and mentees helping those local associations grow and thrive. So that would be the report for the local associations.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paula. I'm the Vice President of Programs and Advocacy. So I want to thank all of you for answering the survey and giving us these great results. It's lovely to have direct guidance from everyone on what you want Programs and Advocacy to do for you, because that's what we're here for. So you can see it's sort of all over the place. People answered various different things, but it's been great to have direct results in this. So building relationships with other organizations, more on advocacy, recognition with the Department of Labor for more than just volunteer coordinator as a title. In terms of what you want to see us do around advocacy would be information on how to advocate for yourself as a professional. That's coming up in 2021 in the Academy webinars. Taking stances on policies, partnering with organizations for better visibility of volunteer engagement needs. I love that one. continue to work on validating the need for funding to be invested in volunteer engagement. I think we could all use some help with that too in our associations and organizations. So thank you for answering the survey. We do build directly what we're doing each year based on what you say. So keep those answers coming. And if you want to contact me when it's not annual survey time and you have something that you would like to say, please do reach out. Next slide, Gretchen, please. So here's our report of our 2020 accomplishments. You may have noticed back on the screen that celebrated all of the members of committees. There are 14 people on our committee. We're doing more than could ever be shoved into a little box on a screen. But first and foremost, our wins for 2020 are hosting 13 Alive Academies. That extra one was the fantastic legislative advocacy webinar in partnership with ASC. That's hosted on the website. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go and watch it and then think about how you're going to build relationships with your local legislators so that when you need something, they know who you are. We've got a bunch of communities of practice. We launched 3 new communities of practice this year: healthcare, arts, and transportation. Our Emerging Leaders Mentor Program is going strong with 12 matches. And we received more than 50 submissions for the Impact Awards this year, which is fantastic. We hosted a fabulous Managing Risk conference, if I do say so myself. Next year, save the date for the 2021 hybrid conference next year on diversity, equity, and inclusion, real impact for the real world. We've also recruited an intern to research advocacy issues and trends, and currently I'm hosting another intern who is working on the resource page project so that we will have a better set of resources for all of you when you go to the website. Our 2021 goals is to launch another community of practice, job transitions, and then a CVA study group. So if you've not yet received your CVA and you're looking to study in the spring, we'll be having a study group for several months so that you can get your feet under you with that. We will launch the next round of the mentor program and feature the Impact Award winners via website and social media so we can all network a bit more. Next year, we will offer diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion webinars quarterly. We'll be reviewing and updating Alive's standards of practice, and we'll be exploring volunteer engagement professional job classifications with the Department of Labor. That comment period is 2024, so look for more information in the newsletter about what you can do to help in advance of getting that goal registered with the Department of Labor. And we will be featuring our committee members on our website, so you can see the diversity and the spread of talent and just amazing professionals that we have working with us. And I will turn it over to marketing.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Audrey Kidwell. I'm the current VP of Marketing. I am based in Florida and I'm excited to share some of the great things that have been happening for us this year. So again, I really want to say thank you to everyone who completed the membership survey. This really helps the marketing team know how to get our information out to all of you. So from the survey, we can see that the newsletter is the best way for you to receive updates on what's happening with Alive. This comes out every other month and is packed with resources, upcoming webinars, trainings, blog posts, and so much more. So please make sure that you're checking it out. Next slide, Gretchen. So we love interacting with all of you on our social media channels. So as you can see, some engagement numbers per the different social media channels that we had a 38% increase in followers on Facebook and 61% increase of followers on Twitter. That's really big for us. Please consider recommending our social media to your fellow volunteer administrators. We share content that's not just for Alive members. And then as always, keep tagging us in your posts and comments so we can share the successes that you guys are having as well. Next slide. So on the screen, we've listed some accomplishments of the 2020 year, such as an increased exposure of the Impact Award, which Paula mentioned was 50 applications, and the hybrid conference. So next year, we really hope to recruit additional members to help with the marketing committee. Shout out if you are interested. We'd love to share some more information with you. so we can continue to keep building Alive's brand and strategic plan. And if we're ever allowed to be in person, we will be hosting a member social at the Points of Light conference in July of 2021. And I'll be turning it back over to you, Megan.
Awesome, thank you. And I just wanted to actually take a moment to thank Audrey. I know she's going to be transitioning out of her role as VP of Marketing, but thank you so much, Audrey, for the great job that you did this year. And she'll still be on our board, so we are still going to be tapping into her talent and expertise for marketing. I would just like to put up here our partnerships that Alive has currently, and we continue to grow our partnerships and reevaluate those because we want to make sure that we're engaging with others in our field as well to provide our members with the best resources available to you. So this is just kind of a list that we have here, and we'll continue to engage with these partners throughout the year to provide services and information back to all of you. And the next slide. Here, I don't know, I know we have this here, but we will be providing a little bit more information with the Alliance. I don't believe, Gretchen, that we may have them here today, but we want to let you know if you want to connect with them to go to the website here for the National Alliance for Volunteer Engagement. We serve as their fiscal sponsor as well. So we are in close communication with the work that they are performing. And just to give you kind of an overview of the differences between Alive and the Alliance, because I think that question comes up quite a bit. Alliance is really looking at gathering cross sectors to further the field, not only the field of volunteer engagement, but for others like funders, government, education, the business community, corporations, you know, for them to really understand that utilizing volunteers is a successful avenue to create change in communities. So they're really engaging a larger cross-sectoral group to further different areas, and they have their own strategic plan of what they are working on. And again, they are also not only members or people that are in the industry of volunteer engagement, but they seek out advisors from other sectors, as well as have them participate on their leadership team as well. And they've got a really great strategic plan that they're working on as well. You can go to their website to learn a little bit more about that. Alive really is focused on the profession. We're really focused on you, the volunteer engagement professional. So that's really our focus of where we want to assume that role of creating you as a leader in this field. And you can utilize a lot of the great work that the Alliance is performing to inform the work that you're doing. So you're going to hear a lot of cross promotion of from us as well of the work that the Alliance is doing. So more to come there as they continue their work, and we'll be providing updates and sharing what they provide to us and to all of you as well. Next slide. I do want to take a quick moment, as always, to thank our wonderful association manager, Gretchen Jordan, for all the work that she does to put together so much of this for us. So Gretchen has been working with Alive for many, many years, and we just appreciate all that she does, from stepping in when our board needs their support, whether it's marketing or membership or pretty much everything that you've heard of today. Gretchen has had a component of that work and has been the thread that has kept us all moving so seamlessly, and we couldn't really do it without her. So this is just a moment if all of us could just quickly thank Gretchen for the fabulous work that she's done. So Gretchen, you're amazing, and we appreciate you so much. And I think the next slide, actually, I'm going to turn it over to Gretchen because she's going to take us home with some of these announcements and ways that you can engage in Alive. So Gretchen.
Thank you very much, Megan. And it is a joy and a pleasure to work with all of you on the board, as well as the committee members, and to connect with members. And certainly when we connect together, we find no matter where we are or what we're doing, there's so many of the same challenges and issues that we face. We really are in this together. And I have earned so much personally and professionally from being a part of this organization from the very beginning. And I thank all of you for being a member and a part of it too. And just really want to encourage you to reach out if you've got, a few hours a week, a few hours a month. There are a lot of opportunities for you to be involved, and there's some of the um, different types of opportunities available for you here. And really, I want to encourage you, if you've got a great skill that you want to be able to share, wonderful. But maybe you want to develop a skill. Maybe there's something you'd like more practice doing. And this is definitely a safe place to come and say, I don't know anything about marketing, but I want to learn more, and to be a part of that committee. And there are people that we can find to connect with you, to perhaps mentor or train you, and, start small. And I think that's how many of us, I think that's how we all learn. And especially because all of the work that we do as volunteer engagement professionals is so diverse. I mean, one day we are marketing, and the next day we're an event planner. The next day we are training. The next day we may be resolving conflicts, or the next day we may be a risk management expert. And it's not like the Matrix where they plug that thing in the back of your head and then you know it all. I mean, you have to learn it, and a chunk at a time. And I would say being able to reach out through the connections gives you a great opportunity to network and learn that way, and to share resources. And that's what many of these opportunities, I think you'll find you'll be able to do. So just some highlights, in terms of finance. We know from the Volunteer Management Progress Report that is an area for our colleagues that sometimes that's not our strong suit. So it might be a great way to learn more about how nonprofit financial, how that whole piece works and how that fits in. Same with HR and policy. That may be something that we're very involved in, or maybe not so much in terms of more the HR side, because of course we're so involved with managing people. For marketing, I talked a little bit about that already. And for membership, I know one of the duties that the membership committee does is just make monthly or regular calls to new members. And it is actually really fun to call a colleague and just welcome them and tell them a little bit about what we do. It's always really rewarding. And you just never know the things that you may find in common. It's a great way to meet a new friend or colleague. And also, if you're interested, if you've had a lot of experience and you might like to mentor a local association, that is something that we would really love to talk to you more about. We do have a framework in place for that. It's not just, the Wild West. There is some structure and definite outcomes that we're looking for. And then Paula has done such a great job with the programs and advocacy committee, and there are a lot of great opportunities, whether it's, we want to be able to lift up our peers on that national level and have a platform for you to be able to present what you know or what you've learned to your peers. And so being involved in a live academy is a great way to do that, and also to facilitate a community of practice. And there are just so many options available because now our field is so diverse. So if you've got an idea to pitch, we would love to hear it. And as well as to be a mentor, if you've had a lot of experience, it would be wonderful. And I know every year people are very appreciative and have come out the other side of that mentor program a much better professional and much more able to be engaged. And I know there's a couple people on the call who would happily give you a glowing recommendation. So when you see that next time, even if you're not, maybe you're not thinking a mentor is a good place for you, sign up to be mentored. You won't regret it. It costs you nothing but your time. And of course, the research and that advocacy piece, and the world is moving very quickly, and there's a lot of moving pieces here, and things may change in the next few weeks. But part of what we're so good at is being able to, switch things quickly and take things in a new direction if we need to. And I did have in the chat earlier a little bit a question about getting more involved in a certain committee or program. And so there's an application on our website, and you could see that on the slide deck. But many of the board members who manage those committees, I think all of them are on right now. So if there's something you want to know more about, just put it in the chat box and they'll pick it up, and I'd be happy to contact you more about that. So that ends the portion of our informal presentation. So I want to lay it open to questions. And there have been a few in the chat box that I've been monitoring as we have been going, but just want to open now for any general questions. I'll look in the question box and also in the chat box.
And while we're waiting for people to think of questions and put them in the chat, I do also just want to add that if you have an idea that you did not see on that list, but you would love to contribute to Alive, reach out and just offer. Say, hey, I didn't see you, ask this, but I would love to do XYZ for you. Let's have a conversation about it. If there's a service or resource or anything that you think that Alive should be doing and isn't, and you want to help us do it, we'd love to hear it. So don't think it's limited to what you saw on that list. It's definitely wide open to whatever ideas and skills you want to share.
Absolutely. And I will say, again, we are recording this session and I'll be posting the recording in the slide deck. I should be able to have that up on the site by Friday. But if you think of any other questions, an hour from now, middle of the night, first thing in the morning, sometimes in the middle of another webinar, things may strike you. Just feel free to reach out. And usually we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. There is a question in the question box. And that's from Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Hello, I'm a mentee this year and it's definitely valuable. I was wondering on the status of the museum COP, or is the part of the arts that was developed this year. Thank you so much. So the person who is managing that, Nicole Smith, for the arts is online. So maybe she will put something in the chat box and respond back to you. And Karen, yes, of course we do. Karen says, do you have a very, very small, not time bound or time consuming volunteer task I can do? I'm sure we can find something. What would be great if you could just take a few minutes, probably 10 minutes tops, to go ahead and fill out that volunteer application. And then that goes to Michelle, and Michelle can connect with you quickly and see where the best place. And I really want to encourage you to think about, if there is a skill or something you'd like to learn more about, this is again, a very safe place to do that. And I think many of us have learned a lot of great skills by being involved with Alive, whether on the board or at a committee or working on a specific project. So I just cannot encourage that. And I see in the chat box that question is being answered. And oh, Karen, we feel you. I think so many of us have been experiencing that. So thank you for the very, very much for the question. I'm watching the clock and I'm going to leave it open for just a few more moments for questions. Shirley would like to know, what is the breakdown of categories in the current membership? So Karen or Megan, do you guys want to take that?
Yes, I mean, if we're talking about, are we talking about industry breakdown or categories? We do have that information, and actually, I believe we have it on our website, I think in the About section. And if we don't, we have actually just performed that analysis, and we just even talked about putting that on this. We just talked about that. Shirley, that's a good question. We talked about it to put it on the slides, and we didn't have an opportunity. I apologize actually for the Alliance slide. I know that was there that wasn't filled out, and we had every intention to reach out to them and have them on this call. And that was on us, so it's not on the Alliance. So I want to be clear about that. So we can reach out to them and actually get something in our next newsletter as a status update from them, because I know they're doing such great work and we wanted to share it, and we just didn't have the capacity at the moment to get them there. So individual groups and associations, yes. So thank you, Shirley. So I can give you that information right now. Currently, we have, I just pulled up my file with that information. So in terms of individuals, we have about 380 dues paying members that are individuals that are there. And then local associations, we have about 34 local associations that are dues paying. And inside those 34, we have 175 members within the 34. So we have a total of about 589 current members here at Alive. And so we're going to continue to see, hopefully, that trend continue to grow. I believe it was more around 300 or so just even a couple years ago. So I see the trend is continuing to grow, which is why you saw those new members. And it really is our goal, like Karen said, is to continue to engage members so we don't see attrition, we don't see people drop off. We understand why they may need to exit, which is why we want to build in a scholarship program for those that may be finding it a financial hardship. So we're really analyzing all of that information because this is really important to our field in order for us to continue to want that seat at the table. You know, we hear so often, it's really important to continue to get these skills, and we don't want people, you know, we want to know what the barriers are for folks to not be able to continue their membership. So we want to take away those barriers as much as we can and to continue ensuring that people are investing in their own growth and development, because I know that's a core value of mine is continuous learning. And I hope that's all yours too, because I would assume that's why you're a part of Alive, is because it is important to continue that growth and development. This is where we find those creative and innovative ideas that we can take back to our organizations, and we can see the growth not only for ourselves personally, but the growth in our volunteer programs or the growth of the mission that we are so engaged in through our work. So that's kind of where we're at. You know, I know it's a roundabout way of saying it because I like to always throw in that part about growth and development and continuous learning, but that's kind of how the breakout is right now for our organization.
I don't see any other questions, Megan, so I'm going to move on to the next slide.
Yeah. And I will say, just to throw that out there, if anyone was curious, because it just brought it up to me as well. When we look at the different types of organizations, we have so many that are here between local associations, government, health and wellness. We talked about cultural arts, education. So we have like a really diverse group of industries that are represented here throughout Alive. And you'll see that with our communities of practice, because we want to make sure that we're you don't see a communities of practice already established for your sector, you can start one. So that would be, and that'd be wonderful for, you know, for example, Angela Williamson just started our healthcare COP. And so we've been doing that over the last few months, and it's been great to connect with folks because you know, my organization is in the healthcare industry as well. So it's been wonderful to do that and see those other professionals just to connect within our industry. But this is a great way for you to engage with us and volunteer your time too. Some only need however often the facilitator can do that. So that's just another great piece to throw out there. Yes, and Paula, you put that note there, so thank you. Any topic you feel we're missing. I know I'll be hosting jobs transition communities of practice for those in the field that may have been unfortunately either found themselves in a layoff position or need to look for another job just due to something that's happened at your organization. Or maybe you're looking at how can I level up, right, in this field. So that may be a good place for you to find yourself in that job and career transition component, whether it's I need to move to another organization or I want to grow my skill set, I want to move up to the next role. How do I do that? So more information will be coming on that. Were there any other questions, Gretchen?
No, no other questions.
All right, so do we want to just go ahead and let's continue with the presentation. And Gretchen, if you want to take these slides, that'd be great.
All right, I'm on it. Ways to donate, and we do not do a annual membership fundraising campaign. We exist mostly off of membership dues, and we've done a wonderful job, especially with the help of Sean and his expert navigation of making the most of your membership dollars. But we do ask that if you are so inclined to consider adding Alive as making a donation there through your shopping. And for me, I highly recommend just using that bookmark site and put it in your browser. So anytime you shop for Amazon purchases, we'll get us a small to medium to hopefully larger check over the holidays if people are going to do that sort of thing. And helpful hint, if you have another member in your household who does a lot of Amazon shopping, like my retired UPS driver who still likes to see that brown truck pull up every day, put it on their browser too. So you get double the impact. We're also a part of eBay for Charity, but there's other ways that you can also donate, and there is the link to do that. And we are, and let's see, Lisa's got a question in there for, let's see, I think that would be probably a Paula question. And just a few quick announcements to save the date. So in December, we have our member social at December 1st at 6 p.m. Eastern. And those are a lot of fun. We do some breakout sessions. There's some great topics and more emphasis on the social than it is on anything else. So if you just want to reach out and feeling like you'd like to talk to your people who understand you, this is the place to come. Kelly, one of our board members, is putting together an amazing panel to talk about modern trends in volunteer engagement, and especially where we were, then and where we're going now. And I think that's going to be a really exciting panel discussion, and that will be kind of our last professional development opportunity for December, because we know the holidays will get very busy. We'll have a new member webinar in December 14th. And then if you're new, or if you just want to check in, that's just a quick 30 minutes. And we just go over the basics of Alive, how to get involved, how to navigate the website, how to get more information, general answering of questions, and a little bit of networking. And we go right back up into it in January. So all of these are on the calendar, and you can register for all of these now. So I would encourage you to go and look at our calendar and go ahead and sign up for these events now to get them on your calendar before they might fill up with other things. Great Alive Academies and a bonus one, as well as those communities of practice that we've talked about. And keep watching that calendar for more, as well as your newsletter. Normally the newsletter will come out every month, the first week of the month, and watch for that for any late breaking news. And then in February, we're doing a webinar about advocacy. And then in later on in March, we're going to be navigating difficult situations. I'm sure that never happens for any of you at all. And another quick announcement or two, don't forget to complete the Volunteer Pro Volunteer Management Progress Report. And I think this is in its 6th year now, and it's a great way to get a snapshot of how the industry, how the profession is changing, how it's evolving. And of course, this year, there's usually a special topic of focus. Last year, it was about technology. This year, I know they'll be talking about how we've been managing during the virus. I have not yet taken the survey myself, so I can't wholeheartedly endorse that it will only take a few minutes, but usually it's just like a 10-15 minute input job. And if you take the survey, you also get automatically registered for the feedback and the information that comes out in middle of January with what did the survey say. And that survey is a great way to use information, especially if you're trying to advocate for something within your organization, for your position, to say, well, look, 72% of my colleagues are looking at getting a certification in volunteer administration this year. And we have a wonderful partnership with certification in volunteer administration. And so there's a great information session hosted this Friday at 2:30 Eastern. And that is hosted directly by the CCVA. And you can register there at that website. But if you've got any other questions, we are looking at doing even more partnerships with CVA next year. And for any of you that might have earned your certification in volunteer administration, I'd love to give you a round of applause right now. Yay. We're so proud of you. And general thank you. It's 1 minute to 3 o'clock. And I'll let Megan finish up the farewells and thank yous as well. But it's been my pleasure to work with each of you this year, and I look forward to next year.
Yes, thank you, Gretchen, and thank you all of our board members for presenting today, and we're excited to welcome our new board members. And we're also just very thankful for all of you, for all of our members and all the ideas that you bring to this table of volunteer engagement professionals. And just a reminder that we're here for you. And so we want to hear from you. We want to engage with you. We invite you to connect with us. This is your association. And so we want to be that reflection of you and what you expect to see coming out of this association for our field. So just keep the lines of communication open with us. We continue to try to share as much information back to you as possible. But again, this is your association. So please continue to share with us all the great ideas and hopefully your time and talent with our organization. And we encourage you to volunteer and continue to grow your leadership skills as well through our National Association. So without further ado, I think we are going to wrap this up right at, well, 12 p.m. my time in Pacific. And we thank you. And again, you'll be hearing from us soon with our December newsletter. And I hope to see you all at our volunteer social on December 1st. So go right now to our website and register there and pick out one of these lovely Zoom backgrounds as well. That was at the top of the chat box that you can see us advertising and modeling for you today. So we hope to see you there soon. And just again, thank you everyone. Have a great holiday season and we look forward to 2021. Thank you.